complete a directed drawing of a frog. Let me show you mine. Here's what I was able to create. So if you follow along with my video, you'll be able to create something very similar, if not even better. So you'll need a few things for our project today. You're going to need a piece of paper. I happen to have white paper like we do at school, but if you don't have white paper, if you have any scrap paper at all, that will be awesome. You can always draw on top of something that you've recycled. You'll need a pencil or a pen, and if you want to create something similar to this one that I was able to create, you'll need a few extra things, okay? So you'll need something like this. It's a black marker, a Sharpie like we get to use at school. Any black marker will do. If you want to outline it like I did mine, you'll need some colorful markers. Here are mine. And if you want to color it in like I did, you'll need some crayons or some colored pencils. I have Crayola crayons like we use at school, so that's what I have, but anything that you have will work. If all you have is something to write with and a piece of paper, you can still create an excellent drawing just like this one. So remember, artists, nothing is ugly except for a bad attitude. And remember, you can always pause, stop, rewind, and rewatch the video as many times as you need to be able to create something excellent. Let's get started. Okay, artist. By now, you should have a piece of paper and something to draw with. I'm going to use this marker here so that you can see it on the video, but I really recommend using a pencil with some kind of an eraser in case you make a mistake. Let's get started. In the middle of your paper, you want to draw two circles that are about the same size. They don't have to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Remember, artists, if at any time you need to see it again, you can always pause and rewind the video. We're going to draw, if you didn't catch that, a C shape inside of each circle. Now, you can color this area in here, or you can give it some cartoon eyes. So how to do that? You want to make a bump and a bump. Then you want to make a frowny line. Bump, bump. And then we're going to color this area in. Now, that's how I made the eyes in my example. If that's too difficult for you, ta-da, two eyes. Okay, now we're going to connect them. And then you're going to pick up that line, you're going to drop it down over here. You're going to come down, and you're going to scoop around, and you're going to stop. You don't want to keep going because we need to draw something right here. Now, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it from the other side. So let's visualize. We're going to take our finger, we're going to come from this middle point, and we're going to come around, and we're going to stop. So we need to make a backward C. Boop. Look, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's an animal. He might be moving. Okay, now we're going to make two straight lines. One, two. You want to leave a space. Now, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. One, two. I left a space. right here, we need to do kind of the same thing that we did right here. We need to pretend like this line picks up and it drops back off and it connects to this line here. So, there we go, just like a little smile. This doesn't look like a frog yet, but it's about to. Okay, now our claws are going to be a triangle shape. And we need to make 2 sets of these claws because he has 2 front legs. He's a frog. So we're gonna go. We made a pointy corner, but I said we have to do it 3 times. Boom. 1, 2, 3 pointy corners. And so we have to do the same thing over here because he has 2 front legs. So we're gonna go out and in. Almost like we're making an ice cream cone shape. Out and in, you wanna connect them. Looking good so far, guys. Okay, now we need to give him back legs. And a frog has very powerful back legs because that's what he uses to kick and propel himself through the air. So our frog's legs, they're gonna come out from here. And there are gonna be 2 of them, right? Because he has 2 back legs. So watch the shape. It's gonna come out and it's gonna go up and it's gonna scoop around and it's gonna go down. I don't wanna go too far down. I just want to kind of maybe keep it in line with the bottom of his body. Now, it's kind of like that upside down ice cream cone shape we just did down here, only it might be a little less pointy. Maybe it's a little more round. It's okay if it's a little pointy. I'll make this one a little more pointy just so you can see what it looks like. A little more like a spider. So you want to really work on getting the curve. Let's see if I can't fix it a little. There we go. Okay, now he needs these paws. So on the one that I showed you earlier, I had them a little bit bigger than these front guys. So if you can, you want to do this. Maybe he needs a little bit of an angle. Okay, I'm gonna go out, in, and connect them. Okay, now I have to do the same thing over here. So remember, it's 3 pointy toes. So we're gonna go out, in, out, in. Ta-da! Now, what he's missing, he needs these creases for his knee. So you want to make a line right here on both sides. Now, he needs a mouth. If you want it very simple, if he's a happy frog, he can just have a little smile. If you want him to have his tongue sticking out like mine, you can find a point along your smile, about middle way. You can make a wavy shape. You want to swing it around with the hook. Then you want to kind of match that wavy line until it reaches the lip. That's his lip now. Now, his mouth has to be open because we can't stick our tongue out, right, if our mouth is closed. So you have to bring this down. Boop. Boop. It almost looks like a banana. That's difficult. That's a challenge. So if the tongue is hard for you, it might help if we put a little line. If the tongue is hard, don't do it. Or practice on the back until you get it right. Okay, now he needs to be standing somewhere. So this frog is floating on a lily pad in a little river. So the lily pad, he's sitting on top of it. So it needs to come from behind him and it needs to scoop around and it needs to come back up. You don't want to make it too big if you want details in your picture like mine. So you're going to come around. There's that letter C shape again. Boom. Now, you got to do it over here too. Let's just go ahead. You got to come around. You want to scoop around his paw. You don't want to cut off his little toe. Okay, now you can connect these lines together, or if you want to get fancy, you can make some curves. So it's kind of like a frown and then a smile, and then a frown and a smile until they connect. What do you think? Okay. Now, I said he was in some type of a river or stream. So what we need to do is we need to make a line behind him. So if he was on the ground, I might call it the horizon line. But right now, we just need to make a line that says this is water and this is sky and grass. So here's how we'll do that. We'll come right above the top of the lily pad and we'll make a wavy line again. It's not super curvy. You don't want that. It's not an ocean. I barely made wave. And you got to do it over here. Now, if you want people to know that this is water, you can make a couple more lines similar to this. So watch, not a lot of lines. I would make just a few. Down here might be a good spot. Over here I have some spots, so watch this. I might make just one little wave. Maybe I'll make one that looks like it's going off the page. Okay, now I'm gonna come over here. Maybe I might make one right here, and maybe a little one on top of it. If you'd like to make another lily pad, you could put another frog on it, a tiny frog, or let me show you this. You can make one with a flower. So this is called a water lily, and we can make it look similar to a tulip. It's very simple. So you want to make a super smiley line like this. Boop. And then you want to close it up with some zigzag mountain lines. So watch, because you want to fit a couple. So down, up, down, up. It's not perfect. It could be better. Now, just like this, we're going to have it come around and back. So it's got to scoop around, have that wavy line, and go back. Ta-da! It's a flower. And then maybe there's a little bit of water behind it. Okay, now let's have some grass growing. A grass, we can use really the same zigzag line. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Just a couple. If you want to make it go all the way across, you can. This is called a cattail. So let's put some grass, maybe like right here. Maybe it's a little longer. Let's stop it right there. Okay, now let's make a line coming up. Let's make two. I'm gonna make this one going the other way, almost like an antenna. I'm gonna make a hot dog shape, so that's an oval on the end. You can use the smile again. Boop. And then you can close it with a frown. Boop. So over here again, you can go boop. And then you close it up with a frown. You have to connect it. Boop. And then you put this teeny tiny line coming out the top. That's called a cat's tail. That's a type of plant that grows by the water. Okay, and now let's imagine that a teeny tiny little butterfly is coming to try to land on this cattail, but instead he meets this frog, and he's getting his tongue ready to go and snatch that frog out of the air. So in a space up here, maybe close to this, but not on top of it, you can draw that same hot dog shape. It's an oval. That's the body of our bug. And then we're making a lot of these little loopy shapes. You want to make too on both sides because he's a butterfly and he's symmetrical. If you want, since we made antennas right here, we talked about them. Boop, boop. Now, if you want it to look like he's flying, like my earlier example, you can use the broken line. That's kind of like his trail. Okay, now we have all this space up here. Let's do some clouds, and we're going to use a puffy cloud line, so a bumpy line, and we're going to take it and we're going to kind of put it around in a circular shape. Just like this. It's pretty easy. Bump, 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 bump. If that's hard to move your pen around like that, you can always turn your paper in a circle as you do it. Let's put one over here too. Bump. I'm going to try to make this one long. Bump, 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 bump. Perfect. Okay, artists, it looks pretty good. Now we're ready for some color. Alright guys, let's talk about coloring. So earlier I said that I used a black marker to outline all of my pencil lines, and then I have some crayons and I have some markers here, and I have them laid out in the colors that I'll need. So first, if you want to make kind of like a shading effect, an easy way to do that is just to use markers. So remember, you want to use markers to outline, not color. And I just took the tip of my marker and I went all along the edges of my black lines. Okay, now that we have it all outlined with our markers, we can go ahead and start coloring in some of the bigger shapes with crayons. Now remember, you could always leave it like this if you want, or if you would like to add more color, let's keep going. So I have a couple of different shades of each color, so I'm going to start with green. I think I'm going to use the light green in the frog, and then I'm going to use this darker green for the lily pad. And then I also have a couple of different blues, so I think I'm going to use a combo of these two darker blues for the water, and then I might use this light teal color in a couple places too for the water, or maybe even inside the clouds. Maybe I'll mix a little bit of gray and this teal color in the cloud area. Now, as I said, we're going to use the dark green for the lily pad. Just a couple things to remember. You want to go ahead and start coloring lightly. You just want to dance your crayon back and forth in nice singular direction lines. So what that means is if I'm going this way, I'm going this way for the whole shape. Pick it up. I'm going up to the line. Sometimes I like to kind of like give myself a little guideline, and then I like to color in all in the same direction. Well, I'm all finished. What do you think, artist? I think it looks pretty good. Hopefully you were able to draw along with me and create something that makes you as happy as this little frog makes me. Until next time, artist.